Hey gang, welcome to another tutorial with Nanicrypto. Today I am talking about the third and probably the most important trading strategy that I have used, especially when I started 6 months ago. This was the only method I was using, and it's the boss method. As you can see, this is not my method, it's Brandon Kelly's method, and I've put his logo on the front screen. Big shout out to him. He is someone who has created a whole bunch of different means to help us in the community and to empower each and every one of us to do our own trading and make our own profit. Now, I have created a few methods. I know I did one a little while ago about how to set up the boss method. The problem with that video is those colors have now changed, so I get quite a few people asking me about that. There was another one where I have used it throughout the charts, but I wanted to, I guess, create one. This is an should be used for the absolute beginners, and I guess for those people who have forgotten how to use the method. It's here to help you out. But as everything, we're going to start out this video with checking Bitcoin. Bitcoin is currently sitting at 8,798. It did do a bit dip a few days ago, and it could be on the way back up again. It's going to depend on a whole bunch of things. Today is the 12th of February 2018. So let's jump straight into the Bitcoin chart first before we do anything else. Now, this is the chart I want to show you. I don't have a whole bunch of indicators on there right now because, as I mentioned, I want to be able to set up this video for the people who are starting from scratch. Now, when you first come into TradingView, we are using the website www.tradingview.com. This is the first thing that you do when you come in. Now, I'm also going to create this video based on people who are using the free version, and then right at the end I'll just quickly run through the different things that we use when we're using the pro account. So the first thing we need to do when we're doing the video is we look at the different setup that we need to do, the different setup that we need to use, and the different time frames that we're going to use. So over here, we type in BTC, and that will take us and show us a whole list of different coins that you can use. We are today using the BTC to USD. Now, this is the only cryptocurrency that we use against USD because we value Bitcoin more than we do fiat. Everything else is valued against Bitcoin. So that's what we're using. And then just the drop down here, you will see a whole bunch of different time frames that you can use. Now, we're going to be using the 4-hour chart as this method is created on the 4-hour chart. And you'll see, some of you may be wondering what these numbers are up here. We have the 7, the 77, and the 343. Now, those are the different time frames that I use, but I use that setup for the pro account. So we're going to leave it on the 4-hour candle, okay? And the most important part, how do we set up the boss method on our chart? So we jump into indicators and we look for, BK, and you'll find it right here. Ultimate BK MAs. Now, this tool was created for one of our members over in the Facebook group, the #1 Facebook group in the world. And as you can see, over 1,200 people are currently using it. So what you can do is once you find that tool, you can just click on this little star here and it will move into your favorites. So that's the tool that we're going to be using. And I'll just, okay, so that is the tool in its, or that is without changing anything, that is without doing anything. That's how the chart shows up as soon as it works. Now, if you move over here and you go into formats, you will see that you can modify a few things. Now, you've got your inputs on this side, so you can either turn them on or off from here if you wanted to, or you can turn them off from here. So normally what I do is I keep all of these on and then I just turn them off from the other side. However, what I like to do is I like to see mine a lot wider so that I can read them properly. So I'm going to start with that. And that's just by moving these up. I am not going to use the 21. Now the 21 we normally use when we bring it down to a smaller time frame. So I'm not going to use the 21 for now. I'm going to turn that off. Having said that, you can click on here. I prefer to have mine as a red, but we'll turn that off for now. Now the other thing is you might find it a bit difficult. If you look at this section, it shows you the charts, but you can see it's quite difficult to read because it's all under the 231. So I'm going to just dim it down a little bit so I can see it properly. Now, so guys, this is the boss method. Just going to quickly, sorry, I think I've got, yeah, I have the blue, light blue. I just find that it's easier to look at. So the boss method is set up with 3 to 4 moving averages depending on which one you're using. So I'll just turn them all back on so I can explain them all. And we have the white. So if you stand here next to where it says Bitcoin dollar, Bitfinex, which is the one I chose, and you choose the I, it actually takes away the candles. And that's actually very useful when you're trying to read the general trend of the market. The white is the 7 moving average. The red is the 21. The blue is the 77. And the white column area or the grey column area is the 231. Now, if you're running your chart on a daily time frame, that will mean that the 7 will give you every 7 days, the 77 will give you 77 days, and the 231 days. However, if you're doing it on the 4-hour chart, which is what we're looking at the moment, you will get a new candle. So if I just zoom out a bit, and I'm just zooming out by using the scroll on my mouse, it will actually create a new candle every 4 hours. That's what it's doing. So here, so I've got this set up so that it shows me the countdown. The reason I like to see that is because, so I'm in New Zealand, and when I go to bed, obviously the time frame, a whole bunch of things happen because US has just woken up. So I like to know when I wake up, how close am I to closing the next candle? So a lot of the decisions when we do trading are made on, where is the candle going to close at today if I'm using a daily chart. So it's really important for me, it's important to know where, has it just created a new candle, or am I, 10 minutes away from a new candle? Okay, so that is the setup. Now you'll also see, which I'll turn off in a second, these yellow arrows. Now these arrows were created from the person who created the indicator, and those arrows should show you where there's been a crossover. However, I prefer not to use them, so I'm going to turn them off for now. Just going to jump back in here, and we're going to turn that one off, and we're going to turn off the 21. Now, down to the nitty-gritty. What does the boss method say? The boss method says white over blue, you know what to do, which is buy, or blue above white, it's time to say goodnight, which is sell. Now, I will show, Bitcoin is obviously to us, it's the most important cryptocurrency, but I'll show you another example in a second of how we can use this in other coins and at different time frames. Now, if I followed that method to a T, this is going back November 15th. November 15th, yes. My method would have told me right here, white above blue, you know what to do. Okay, so I've bought Bitcoin there, and then I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to move it. Sorry guys, sometimes it gets tricky when you're trying to move them and it doesn't let you move them. Oh, there we go. Don't we want that? And of course it's not going to let me do it. Or did it? Ah, yes. So, white over blue, you know what to do, which is buy. Okay, you're buying it because the 7 has crossed the 77. Okay, white below blue or blue above white, it's time to say goodnight, and I've sold there. So if I had followed this method to a T, I'm just going to turn off the candles for a second, without thinking about it, I would have made, now there's a couple of ways I can check here. You can use this ruler here and it can show me. I would have made 143% on a purchase. That is some pretty good profit. Now, there's obviously a lot of things we have to keep in count when we're using the boss method. Now, what I've just explained is the simple, rule: white above blue, buy, blue above white, sell, without thinking about anything else, without taking into account the momentum of the chart. And the reason this would have been a perfect buy is because my white, my 7, is above the blue and below the 231. And as we can see, there is some great momentum here and everything's going up. Okay, so that trade couldn't have gone wrong. So I went and sold here where my method said it was time to sell. And now we've had another opportunity. So let's just say it doesn't happen again. White above blue, you know what to do, so I've bought it again. However, here is where we have to start thinking about a few other things. If I look at the 231 at this point in time, it was crossing literally in between the lines, which you would have thought it was a good idea. Blue was kind of doing a bit of a swing. The 7 was on the way up. But what actually happens here? A few other things that you need to think about when using the boss method is the volume. Okay? Now these volumes are just the bars down the bottom. Red's the sells, green's a buy. So even though, like all this way here, if you look here, it's kind of greens all the way. We peaked it around here, which is, I think, that green candle would have given us this uptrend here. But as you can see, the volume wasn't that strong. So that's another thing you need to think about. And the other thing is, if I look at the cycle, this 231, which is the long-term cycle, I can see that Bitcoin is starting to go down. Now, when Bitcoin is under the 231, so when I'm talking about it being under 231, I'm talking about the 77 and the 7. The trades aren't as simple because right now, here it tried to go up. Now, there's people who do, and people, I mean me, yes, I've done it a few times. I've done it where it's gone, oh, it's going to go back up, and I've bought it here. But that wasn't right. It was actually going down. So if you're going to use this method, how accurate is the method? some people may ask. I would say 9 out of 10 times it's accurate. Now, a lot of people ask the questions, when do I sell? So if you followed the method to a T, you'd sell when the line comes under. However, if you've made a profit from here to here and you're happy with 120%, then that's okay as well. Like there are people who say, I'd rather wait until it crosses the line. If you had done it before and it peaked and you got 180 or 179, that's okay as well. But you have to think about that while the energy of so the reason this method works is because it looks at, because they're going from 7 to 77 to 31, these charts aren't created overnight. These charts aren't created because some bobblehead, as they call them, wrote a piece of news and everything went, either spiked or dipped. These charts are created long term. The reason why they work is because we look at the energy of the chart and it helps us to determine where we're at. If I take this, now that's how the chart is used, I guess, in its simplest form, on a 4-hour chart. Now, let's just turn the candles down on for a second. And I'm quickly going to jump into people. If you're kind of noticing here, we're on a 4-hour chart. Looks like maybe lightning's about to strike, and maybe Bitcoin is getting ready to uptrend. Now, I haven't confirmed that. This 231 is obviously driving it down, but there's a whole bunch of trend lines and energy, and there are other indicators which I will be doing in my future videos that help us determine if Bitcoin is ready to go up. So that's my 2 Satoshis worth of Bitcoin. Just finally, I'm just going to jump into another chart, show you how looking at not only Bitcoin, but looking at other coins. So this is Ethereum. And exactly the same thing happened here. So still my 3 lines. So we've got the 7. Let's turn that off for a sec. The 7, the 77, and the 231. If I had followed it, I would have bought down there. Now, the other thing you have to remember when trading is cryptocurrency is quite volatile. So if you have set a hard rule of selling and buying as soon as it does the cross, that's fine. If you had waited on this coin, you would have made 156%, which is crazy. However, you also have to remember that sometimes it is just, when coins are on the uptrend, get rid of that one. Coins are on the uptrend, it's normal to see the momentum correct a little bit and then continue its upswing. And that sometimes is quite small, but sometimes, it can go all the way down. We don't know because obviously there's a huge gap between here. So, but if we are following the method as per, you would have sold it. But if you had waited, then you could have sold up here. Like I said, it's all depends on you. Now, the 4-hour chart to me is more of a mid-term kind of trades. If I want to keep my trades going for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks. But then sometimes people say, but I want to buy a coin that I believe is going to do well over the next week. I don't want to hold it for longer than that. So can you go down? Absolutely. You can take the chart down to a 1-hour chart. And if you take it down to a 1-hour chart, we can also see, like right now we can see Ethereum's coming down for a break because it's been going up constantly. Would I jump into Ethereum right now? Absolutely not. It has been a strong coin since Bitcoin has been going down, but it's time for a correction. Now, this chart actually shows us we could be doing, something like this and something like this, and it may get ready for another cycle, but we won't know until we get some more data and until we get some more time frame. But Ethereum's always a strong coin. So, guys, I hope this helps. As usual, I try to make my videos quite short and don't do very well at that. But I guess I just wanted to create it's one of the most important trading strategies that I use. I still use it as my point of entry 90% of the time. I look at that strategy first, and if I'm happy with the way the boss method looks in the coin that I'm going to purchase, then I go into some other indicators like the Ichimoku cloud or RSI or MACD or a few other ones. But I think if you're a beginner, if you're just starting the cryptocurrency, it's a great way to start. And just remember, we've got a whole bunch of different things that you can use in the community. Just quickly going to jump into the #1 Bitcoin group in the world. Type in #1 Bitcoin group. You will find a huge group, 22,000 members, strong community who help each other out, who are always there to support each other with questions, with issues that they've come up with. It's really good because it also sometimes shows coins that you may not be paying attention to. So they show you, I'm just going to jump straight down into some of the charts. Here we go. Here's an XVG chart, the Verge chart that was posted yesterday. So it's a really important group. I'm one of the moderators there in the group, and we are all there to support each other. So doors are always open. You can come and join us on that group. We've also got I've got my Twitter account. I post here things that I feel are important, whether it's reposts about Bitcoin, which I know everybody's watching, my own 2 cents worth of Bitcoin, and also most of the times when I make trades, I've also been posting them. Now I've been quite quiet when it comes to the trading the last few weeks with Bitcoin going down. But if I do see a good opportunity, I'll still post it here. So that's Twitter. We've also got obviously the Nanicrypto channel. We have a whole bunch of videos for anybody getting started, whether you need to set up your TradingView account. This was the BK Boss Method video that I had done. So this is obviously a newer version of it. And I'm going to continue to create videos. My next bunch of videos is going to be about different indicators that we can use to help us. And the idea of those indicators is to complement the boss method and help us choose the best entry or exit point when we're trading. Also, just quickly, we have Boss of Bitcoin. Big shout out to Brandon and all his support to the community. The reason I wanted to mention this Boss of Bitcoin is I have become BK certified and will now be helping out everybody in the community with the beginners videos. So if you're having problems setting up the boss method, understanding the basics, maybe you want someone to maybe have a quick look at your portfolio, you're worried because you're in a loss, or just anything, just any questions that you have about the market. The idea is for me to start helping people out and obviously supporting Brandon, who's fully booked, I think, all the way up to March, the end of March. So once again, guys, I'm here to help you out. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to the 850 subscribers and to many, many more to come. Please remember to leave me your comments in this video. If you have any questions at all, remember to subscribe, turn on the post notifications. Please share this content. I know there's a lot of people getting started in the cryptocurrency trading market, and they are obviously feeling a bit lost as it can be quite daunting. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye.